I'm Ted Delmonico, owner of Everybody Fitness Centers in Springfield, Virginia. I've began with my background a little bit is with Nautilus in 1982. I started with Mid-Atlantic Nautilus. Worked with them in shipping, and then I moved into their sales department, and then later into their training program and certification program with Nautilus itself. One of the things that I was drawn to was when Nautilus was first out was there was a lot of competition between them and free weights, and people were always asking about why Nautilus. And so one of the things I wanted to try to go over with you today was just to talk about the differences between the free weights and the Nautilus machine. One of the things that really drew me to Nautilus was the fact that it's a very efficient tool for training. With a barbell, what you find is when you do a particular exercise, let's just take a barbell curl for instance, when you're lifting the weight through space, obviously you're going to find points in that lift that are heavier and other points that are going to be lighter. And we get what we call a sticking point when we go through that, which generally speaking what happens is you're stronger in that one point or weaker in another. So you get to a point in that sticking point you just can't move that weight through. And Arthur Jones, who was the developer of Nautilus, found that to be something that he wanted to try to overcome and find out why that happens in the human body. So he actually did quite a bit of testing with medical people to find out where our strengths and weaknesses occur. And what he found was we have in our bodies, and every muscle group in the body is what is called a strength curve. It's kind of a bell-shaped curve that goes kind of up and down as we go, where we start the movement on the range of motion, we get stronger as we go through, and then we get weaker as we get to the full contraction point. And so what he looked at was of course, with a barbell, we're going with gravity. So gravity, of course, has its limitations. So he wanted to develop a machine that would mirror that strength curve of the body. So what he came up with was a cam design. It's basically a pulley that when you lift a weight up and through the range of motion, it varies the resistance to match the strength curve of that particular exercise. And he found with a leg extension, barbell curls, leg presses, pretty much any exercise that he was looking at, he could develop into and match that curve. The name Nautilus actually came from that. It was when he developed his cam, it looked very much like a Nautilus shell. And so that's why he came up with the name of the equipment as well. Now, what does that do for us as the exerciser? Well, obviously you want to be strong at every point in a range of motion. You don't want to get real strong in one point and be weak in others. And that's something that drew me to that. Some of my background being I was just an athlete going through high school and college and wanted to take advantage of being as strong as you can when you're going through that. And what you find with barbell training is certain exercises are very effective for certain sports, but in a lot of other sports you go through a range of motion and you get real strong at one on a barbell press or something, and you're not strong when you get close in, or you're maybe moving people in and out and away from you in a sport. And that's one of the things that was very appealing with Nautilus is that you get strong through the entire range of motion with that. So it's called variable resistance is really what that cam does. It's varying to match that strength curve. The other thing is that when he was doing this, he came up with other exercises that you could do, such as a pullover exercise. Was one of the first machines that Nautilus came up with. Whereas before you would lay and have to prop yourself up, and you'd have to be in a fairly good condition to do that, to get your hips off the ground, lay across a bench, put a dumbbell in your hands, and then rotate through that exercise. Well, that was great for an athlete, but for a lot of older population, women, people maybe with special needs, they maybe can't get into a position of that nature. So with using a cam, you could again take that pulley design, attach it to a weight stack, and then come up with movements that mirrored different functions with free weights that couldn't be done by people in a safe and effective way. So with Nautilus you have, and any selectorized piece of equipment actually, because the Nautilus and Cybex were two of the earlier adopters of that type of movements. And with a selectorized machine, of course, you're in a particular movement, so they break it down. Usually there's anywhere between 10 and 20 pieces in any type of a line of equipment. Each piece specializes in a particular movement of the body, such as a leg extension, a leg curl, a pull down, pull over machine.